What's up, guys and girls? This is Crypto with James talking to you today about Stellar, Lumens, and the wonderful world of crypto. The wonderful world of crypto. So Bitcoin actually splashed above and closed above 42 grand last night. It's obviously had a little bit of a pullback. I do think we're going to end up having a good weekend, and I did say throughout the week I think we should end up challenging or at least trying to tackle this 200-day moving average. So we'll see. I'm going to talk about that very briefly in a second. Before I do, as always, the spreadsheet's updated. These were the first 26 coins I spoke about on the channel that I thought would crash it in this bull cycle. You'd invested $100 into each one. After a pretty good night, you'll be in profit for $19,300. So that would give you holdings of $21,900 if you'd still be holding everything. So that's not bad at all. I'm not in most of these. In fact, if you want to see exactly what I'm in, check out the link in the description, copy my crypto. I share exactly what I got, why I've got those coins, and the huge growth that they're going to have. I balance a portfolio beautifully to maximize gains and minimize rewards. If you want to copy that and you want to match my profit, then check out the link. It's in the description, guys. All right, Bitcoin. The reason I'm talking about Bitcoin, firstly, obviously, it moves the market, right? It rules the market, and everything takes its lead from Bitcoin. So we know that. But the reason that it's in particular important right now is because I'm talking about Stellar, and they're quite highly correlated. Their correlation coefficient is about 0.87, which means that there's a very strong correlation there. Now, that means as Bitcoin increases, we should see a rough correlation with Stellar Lumens. I would actually expect that the increase with Stellar would perform the increase in Bitcoin in terms of percentages, because altcoins generally do. Okay. Now, Stellar is currently pricing at 0.2782. So 27, nearly 28 cents. Its high this year was just around 70 cents, which is, about 2.5x-ish from this point. So we will see what that does. I do expect that to seriously have some runs, particularly with recent news. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Stellar, so Stellar is all about effectively bringing banking to as many people as possible. It was created by Jed McCaleb, and he was the founder of the failed Mt. Gox exchange, and he was co-founder of Ripple. Now, McCaleb created the Stellar network after disagreements about the implementation of Ripple's core principles. And Ripple and Stellar are effectively probably the two blockchains right now that are going to end up competing in terms of centralized banks and how they implement their centralized digital currencies. So the Stellar network is a system designed to help cross-border, faster and cheaper payments with the traditional financial system. Corporations like IBM and Deloitte, some banks within the South Pacific, use the Stellar system for money transfer operations to minimize the costs for sending so much money abroad or wherever, right? Now, Stellar is incredibly fast. There is no doubt about it. It is very cheap to move. Currently, its market cap makes it the 19th most valuable in the world. And what's started to happen is that we're seeing banking potentially moving on to Stellar. Now, that's the wrong article. So, Stellar actually in January signed an agreement with the Ukrainian government to assist in the infrastructure for their CBDCs. Now, what that implies is that XLM is really trying to branch out and be the blockchain for as many CBDCs as possible. This would increase the value of Stellar. By the way, Stellar does have a hard cap of, 50 billion tokens. So they'll never, and that's obviously a positive in terms of it gives the the price a bigger room to grow. You know, when a crypto doesn't have a hard token supply, we tend to see that the prices won't necessarily fly up in the way that ones that have a finite supply do. Now, fundamentally, the long-term goal of XLM is to get as close to as many banking establishments as possible. If their blockchain is the one running it and the Stellar Lumens token is paying for the transactions that occur on the system, it also means that Stellar's use case becomes even better. It means banking institutions have a significant holding in Stellar, so they have good reason to push the prices higher, or certainly to invest more, and it also means more hedge funds will probably look at investing into Stellar because so many centralized government banks will hold it. It is highly correlated with Bitcoin, and that has to change at some point. But we'll see how that works. To fundamentally, most cryptos to some degree are fairly correlated with Bitcoin. We've only really started to see Ethereum beginning to decouple, but even then, it's not really that close yet. Correlation is still quite strong. Now, as you guys saw, in January there was an agreement with the Ukrainian government, and the legislation passed on July 1st that Parliament is going to make sure that the central bank digital currency is functionally equal to the cash and other payment tools. So they are launching this. And with that all being confirmed on July 1st, it does mean that once this is all fully flowing and into gear, the Stellar blockchain now has even more strength and even more credence and credo and behind it. If this does go forward, we're going to see other countries looking at Stellar potentially as the blockchain to build on. We know full well that there's been rumors circulating about XRP, and I believe it was Flow. But right now, XLM, Stellar, is one of the first to get stuff off the ground. In December of last year as well, Germany's oldest bank, one of the oldest banks, announced that they're going to create their issuance of a stable coin via Stellar. So this again is a really positive step. Now this is obviously news that's about 8 months old, and we've not seen a huge amount happening. The German bank is going to offer tokenized securities based on Stellar as well. Now that may have changed because securities laws have begun to be more scrutinized, or certainly crypto-based securities have been far more scrutinized. We've seen tons of like tokenized stocks being removed from sites like Binance. But the stablecoin is going to be a very, very positive thing with regards to XLM. Now, in Germany alone, they're talking to several real estate developers that would like to issue tokenized securities themselves for the purpose of purchasing real estate. Now, again, if that occurs and it's issued across Stellar, then again, Stellar's use case just widens. Remember, fundamentally, if Stellar ends up becoming the blockchain that securities are built on, or that centralized banks' currencies are built on, and Stellar is the token, Stellar is the crypto that pays for transactions, it does mean multiple places are going to start building up a serious amount, like multiple banks, multiple institutions are going to start building up a serious amount of holding in Stellar. And all of a sudden, Stellar's got far greater appeal as an investment because banks are so heavily into it. Now, whether this continues or not, we will see. But Stellar is looking bright at the moment, and with the Ukraine announcement at the beginning of this past month, it bodes well for Stellar. Make no mistake about it, it doesn't mean XRP is not going to do well. I do think this year XRP will do well, particularly based off the fact that there's been immense price suppression on Stellar. I also believe that Stellar has, there's been immense price suppression on XRP, and I also believe XRP has a lot of use cases and appeal for banking institutions as well. Realistically, the battle for CBDCs is going to be won in America mostly. So whichever crypto or blockchain is the most successful in terms of getting the major US banking institutions on board will end up being the winner in that regard. And as far as I'm aware, XRP has a lead in that within the US institutions, but Stellar is certainly doing very well across Europe right now. If it continues to do so and it can get a foothold within America, there's no reason Stellar's price can't skyrocket. With a $50 billion max supply, a dollar or two per Stellar is well within the realms of possibility. And fundamentally, if it's got the foothold for the US banking institutions, a $10 per Stellar is well within the realms of possibility, but that wouldn't be happening till the next bull cycle. And I think the next Bitcoin halving is around in 2024. So we'd be looking at the next bull cycle around 2025. So we'd be looking at Stellar if it's got the foothold in America with institutions and has continued to grow in Europe, then a $10 coin in 2025 is very, very, very feasible. But until then, we're going to have a bear market during the time between now and then. So that is when you want to get in on Stellar. But this current bull cycle could very well go back up to 70 cents. Very feasible it could go up to $1. But there would need to be a bit of news to push that forward. But yeah, I'm big fan of Stellar. Big fan of Stellar. Anyway, that's it from me. Check out Copy My Crypto. Link is in the description. See the enormous gains that are going to be had from my immense portfolio. It is balanced in the most beautiful way to maximize gains. I'm not all in on one crypto because that's stupid investment behavior. But I've got a beautiful portfolio, and if you want to see it, check the link in the description. That is it from me. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye-bye.